Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 76 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. I'm Gage's dad. Hey, Dan's dad. How you doing?
Excellent, Gil.
For anyone new here, we do these live streams every week at 6 p.m. Pacific on Sundays. We do them for a couple of reasons. The number one reason, though, is to answer your questions and stay in tune with our product so we know what it's like to use it every week. We always remind our audience of the three pillars that StreamYard was built on: ease of use, stability, and professional looking streams. So if you're about those three things, then StreamYard is the tool for you.
That was fun.
Hopefully you all enjoyed that. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Thank you, Gage's dad and Dan's dad. We appreciate it. You guys can go back to viewing on your regular channels if you prefer that, or hang out with us here in the studio. So yeah, happy Father's Day, everyone. We have some exciting announcements tonight, and of course, thank you to our guest speakers. So the first, I guess we'll start with the usual ones. We have StreamYard Connects every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. My rhythm's a bit off because I didn't have to do my intro tonight. It's a nice break. So yeah, make sure you catch Ross. He has a great show. He does those every Wednesday, and it used to be every other week, but now it's every single week. So it's there's no confusion. You can make sure you're there every time. And then we also have the StreamYard Spotlight Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Dana and Kelsey. And that's a great show where they basically interview StreamYard users about how they're using the product. And if you want to get a sense of like how you could potentially use it, it's a great resource. And if you want to get interviewed, be sure to reach out to them because they'll be happy to schedule you on the show. So without further ado, let's make our first major announcement, which is mobile hosting. So this is a big one. I'm guessing a lot of you are probably very excited. I think it was a while ago that we actually did the poll asking people what the top feature was that they wanted, but I think it was about 6 months ago. But 6 months ago, mobile hosting was the number one request. So yeah, if you guys are looking forward to that, let us know. It'll be rolling out over the next couple of days. So if you go to try it right now, it won't work just yet, but it will start rolling out tomorrow morning, and then everyone should have access by the end of Tuesday. Sorry, I need to turn that phone off. But yeah, it's a sneak peek. So the official announcement will go out Tuesday, but we wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of how it works. I've got some images here to share with you. Do you want to touch a bit on mobile hosting while I turn my phone off here, Dan?
Yeah, so very exciting, first of all. And yeah, like Gage said, it's not ready right now, but this is like, we wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek. We kind of think of you as like the core StreamYard audience, so kind of announcing it to you first, and then on Tuesday we'll do the official announcement. But yeah, it will work on tablets and mobile devices. So if you have an iPad or something, it'll work on that. You want to go live on your Android device or on your iPhone, it will work totally fine. Portrait and landscape, like fully supported, and everything's running in the browser still, so you don't have to download anything. It'll just work. It's been like fully designed nicely for mobile. Like I know some people have been kind of getting around it for a while with doing like the desktop mode on Android. I don't know if you can even do it on iOS. And it looks really bad, but like it kind of works. Now it'll actually work very well for you. Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. It's been a long time coming. It's one of many cool things that are about to come out.
Yeah, I'm super excited, especially tablets, because I think I know a lot of people. Like I always forget how many people out there actually just are completely mobile only, where it's like either they just have a phone or they just have a phone and tablet. So it's great that now they can actually use the product normally. But yeah, we have some images of how it will look. And you'll obviously get the full experience once it's fully released. But this is essentially how it will look when you're hosting from an iPhone or an Android device. So all your major features are there. You'll be able to pop chat on the screen and banners and adjust your brand, and of course invite guests. I'm not. Is there anything important in the more section that I'm forgetting?
Just a lot of the like things you're used to, like layouts and the private chat with guests. Yeah, those types of things, like editing the broadcast, like, oh, I need to add YouTube to the broadcast, that sort of stuff.
Got it. And then the mode that we'll recommend using most of the time is to hold it. Here, let me just pop that that banner off so we can see it better, is holding the phone landscape, because obviously your camera will not have those black bars, so it'll look much better. But yeah, this gives you a sense of how it'll look when you're streaming in landscape. You'll have access to all the major features just like you do in the other mode. And then next, I've got the portrait for tablets. So this is like if you have an iPad, it'll look like this essentially. So basically just a bigger version of the phone, but it's pretty smooth. You're able to just tap the chat to show them on screen, tap the banners. It basically works exactly how you'd expect it to work. And then again, we do recommend that you use the landscape version on an iPad as well, just because you'll have your full camera rather than the black bars. And then on an iPad, it essentially looks like how it does on desktop when you're in that mode. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Let me just check the chat here. If you guys have any questions about it that we can address, let us know, or just questions in general. We'll hit on that. Sounds like a lot of you are excited. I know, Michael, you're a big fan of just using the desktop mode, but I'll be curious what you think of this. We're hoping it's a huge massive improvement, because we actually designed it versus just hoping for the best.
Yeah, I've always been impressed by people that can actually use the old desktop mode. I find it so hard to click on things like that. But yeah, no, you gotta like zoom in kind of and like click, zoom back out. It's not easy to do, but no, this is much nicer.
Sounds like quite a few people enjoyed the the intro.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah, big shout out to our dad. So it's not easy. Like that was. I think, at least I know for my dad, it's the first time ever doing a live stream. And
yeah, it was a good test. So yeah, it was nice to see that he was able to join fine and actually do the intro. So that was great. It was also I was actually got the experience of like doing the remote producing that lots of people do. So that was nice. And I got some ideas from it. So it was good to actually do it.
Cool.
And Orlando, yeah, mobile hosting is coming, Orlando. So you'll be able to host from any mobile device you have. So if you have an iPad or an Android tablet or phone, those will all work.
As of Tuesday.
Yes, as of Tuesday.
So this is the pre-announcement, or a little sneak peek of the upcoming future.
APG says, will it support recognized external microphones? So it'll depend on the microphone. APG, there are some bugs with Safari as far as recognizing those mics, and we're working closely with them to see how quickly that can get resolved. The nice thing is they are constantly improving it, and it seems to be a very high priority. So hopefully that will get better and better, but not all of them, but some of the external mics.
Yeah.
Hosum's a fan of the iPad version. Yeah, that's the main one I'm looking forward to. I might actually test it out and do some live streams from, well, I'll obviously test it out, but might actually do like maybe some of these from an iPad, see what it's like. Danny says, can we download videos after the stream? Yeah, absolutely. It's only on the paid version of StreamYard. You'll have the option afterwards to download the video or just the audio file if you want, which I know a lot of people like for podcasting and things like that. And then if you are on the free version, you can always go to say like YouTube and download it from there. Alfonso says, bravo. Great to hear that you're a fan. Some people asking about 1080. 1080 is still on the list, and we know that's also a very high, a very popular request. So that's also high on the list. Doug says, regarding super chats, can you please segregate them into a separate tab? I like addressing them at the end of the show. And if there's too much chat, StreamYard limits how far back in the chat you can scroll. Yes, definitely understand how that could cause some trouble for you, Doug. You definitely want to acknowledge people in the super chat. So we can definitely think about doing that exactly, or figuring out a way to make those more prominent and stick around for the entire stream. And
also a follow-up, Doug, because I know right at the top we display the super chats, kind of like YouTube does, where there's like these little, it shows like a little sample of them at the top, but they go away after a while. Would it be okay if you could just click those to show them on screen, or did they disappear too quickly? Or maybe if we just like kept them up, they never disappeared, like all the super chats just built up in that row. And then if you could click on them there, is that good? Or is it better to actually like see them in list format?
Cassette says, when will you add video edit tool to the platform? So that'd be a pretty significant addition, Cassette, but I appreciate the suggestion. I don't have a date or even know if we would add that. Like right now, I would probably suggest just downloading the video and then basically using your favorite video editing tool to do that, just because there's a lot that are great that have a ton of features that would be hard for us to, it would be a whole separate product if we had a full-on video editor tool. But yeah, if anyone's a big fan of particular tools in the chat, let us know. I know I like there's a few I like, but I actually end up using Clipchamp. I don't hear it mentioned very often, but it's very convenient. It's kind of like StreamYard. It's all cloud-based, so it makes it pretty easy to quickly edit stuff. I'm a fan of that one.
It's a simple editing platform, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Doug's tuning in from Creston, BC. Thanks for joining us, Doug.
Sweet.
Remnants, happy to be part of the launch party. Absolutely. It's fun to give you guys a sneak peek. Mitchell's also a fan. Yeah, it'll be great for LinkedIn, especially just because there's some tools that allow mobile, but there's not a ton. So it'll be nice to be another tool that allows people to be able to go live from their phones and iPads.
Yeah, it's a good point, because like YouTube obviously has the built-in one, although not everyone has access to it. And then
Right.
Facebook has their own, and Periscope has their own built-in. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, let's touch on the next subject and then get back to the questions. Another addition that was made recently that some of you I know noticed and were excited about was, I don't know if I actually made a.
And we're using this one today, right?
Yeah, we're using. I edited Gil's and Ken's name to add the dad qualification. So yeah, we did make use of this. So I know before, if you ever wanted to edit, well, first of all, if you wanted to edit your guest's name, you couldn't. They would have to refresh the page and then re-enter their name. But now you have full control. At the bottom, there's 3 dots. And if you click those dots, there's an option to edit the name. So if you need to quickly help a guest out because maybe they have a typo or you're just not happy with what they decided to call themselves, they also have the option to edit it too, though, right, Dan? So it could be kind of a bit of a battle between you two, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't trust your guest.
Yeah, you're kind of out of luck anyways if you can't depend on them to let you choose the name. So
yeah, and you can edit, like if you're the host, you can also edit your own name. I know that's useful for people. Like they get in here and then, I got to refresh to edit it. So yeah, you can edit your own. Your guest can edit your own, and you can also edit your guests' names.
Yeah. One thing I should mention, since we usually always do it right at the end, so maybe I'll mention a bit earlier, so there's more people that might see it. Is we are hiring right now, so we're looking for a front end engineer and then customer support, ideally somewhere on the other side of the world, so potentially somewhere in Europe that to meet those time zones. Front end engineer could be anywhere, but yeah, definitely if you're watching and you are someone or you know someone, just reach out to us at contact@streamyard.com. I've been pleasantly surprised how many applications we've gotten. We're still going through all of them, but we really appreciate you guys reaching out. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you if you're a talented front engineer or a talented customer support agent. It would be great to hear from you. Let's get back to the comment section. Susan Core wants a job. Yes, absolutely. Send us the resume. contact@streamyard.com. Marie's a fan of editing the name. Yeah, it's a tiny one, but it's the type of thing when you don't have it, it's really annoying to explain to the guest, like, can you please refresh the page and re-enter it?
And then type this specific thing in when you come back, and then they screw it up. You're like,
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to have. Michael says, is screen share available? So I assume, Michael, you're referring to mobile. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions about mobile, let us know. That's sort of the big announcement tonight, is that you'll be able to stream from mobile devices if you're coming in late. Unfortunately, no, Michael, it's not launching with the screen share ability. At some point in the future, that might be an option. But right now, we figured there's already a lot. There's already a very limited amount of space and a lot going on when you're on mobile. So just start with the basics and make sure that that's done well.
Yeah, and then we'll be making little tweaks as we hear back and get feedback, and then it'll come farther down. Like, okay, what else do we need? Do we need screen sharing? Is there other little things we should be adding on mobile?
Nice to see you, Bruce. I haven't chatted with you in a bit. I hope you're doing well. Fan of guest names, awesome, and asking to increase the character count. I don't actually know what the character count is at right now.
50.
50. I'm curious, Bruce. How many characters would you like to have? Because there is an eventual limit of it's not going to look too nice on the screen if it gets too long.
Well, there's only so much space, yeah. If you're by yourself, I mean, it could extend across the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's also another important point to mention. Calvin, is the free version have editing of the name? Yep, the free version, you can do that in the free version, and then also mobile hosting is available on the free version of the product. You'll have the duck in the corner if you're on the free version, but you can still host.
Yeah, so everything else is the same as desktop, but yeah, just works on mobile.
Patricia's a fan. Thanks, Patricia. Glad to hear it, Eves. That's kind of you to say. Lots of very nice things. Thanks, Carrie. I haven't seen you for a bit. Hope things are going well. Nazari says, my stream's lagging at the end because of the audio mixer. So audio mixers can be a bit tough. Nazari, you'll want to make sure you have, I know one of the most common issues is basically you'll have there'll be two different devices. It's like one's going directly to your computer and one's going through an interface, which can lead to sort of a sync issue. So you'll want to try to have both of them going through the same device, or at least have them. I'm not an expert when it comes to that stuff, but there's like on devices, there's sometimes an option to essentially get those in sync through the hardware rather than the software. So you'll want to explore that. And then if you continue having issues, reach out to our support team who has a nice doc of things you can go through. Jazz says, why is there an echo on the guest speaker? So I'm guessing you're talking about your own streams, Jazz, but usually it should be canceled out automatically. But if someone has, a really loud speaker that's going directly into the mic, or just a really bad audio setup, it can be an issue. So the number one thing you can do to just completely eliminate the possibility of it happening is to just have the person wear headphones, because then it won't matter. I guess it's possible if it was super, super loud to still have issues, but I've never seen it happen. So if you have headphones, that will completely fix the issue. And then in the vast majority of cases, it should be fine. Just ask them to turn the speakers down a bit, or at least move the mic farther away from the speakers, and then the echo cancellation stuff should work. The other point of confusion that can happen that I've seen is someone disables their own audio processing without using headphones, and that obviously then you don't get the echo cancellation effect, and it can cause problems. So if you don't have headphones, make sure you have that checked.
Yeah, like so for me, just for example, because I don't have headphones in right now, Gage does, but I don't. My speakers are like off to the side. If I put my speakers right up to my mic, there'll be echo. We just can't fully cancel all of it. Or yeah, if I had audio processing disabled, you'll definitely hear echo from that. So
Jorge says, is there a plan for StreamYard certification? That's a cool question. It's actually come up quite a bit because there's so many people doing remote production type of things where basically they have a client that wants to do a live stream, but they don't know anything about live streaming, and they help that client by remotely producing the show. So it's something that's on our radar. I don't have a formal plan for it, but it's definitely something we're interested in, just because of how many requests we've gotten. And we actually are, again, there's not a formal plan, but we are talking to a few people about what that process would look like. If you have any ideas there, and I guess I'm sort of assuming you mean StreamYard certification for being a remote producer, but if you don't, let me know in more detail what you're thinking, Jorge. I'd be curious. Alfonso says, hopefully clock, date, and time are added in the future, and importantly, MP4 video will be awesome. So Alfonso, you can upload MP4 video in the overlay section, if I'm understanding correctly. I'm not sure on the clock, date, and time. Do you mean just maybe like a little widget where you could see the time displayed on your screen? Let me know. Do you have any ideas there, Dan?
I'm not sure. I was thinking maybe like a countdown.
Okay, yeah. We are interested in making the process of intro videos and outro videos easier. So you never know, we might do something to facilitate that. Keisha says, could you implement call-in studio into StreamYard? So that's a subject that comes up a lot in our Facebook group. And what I see a lot of people using is something called a Rodecaster, which is a pretty cool device. It's basically an audio interface where you can plug your cell phone into it and take calls on your cell phone, and then all of that audio gets mixed and sent to your computer, and you can use that as your StreamYard mic. And that's a pretty elegant solution. It's definitely expensive, but it will work very nicely. So that is an option for you. The other one that I've seen people use is just use basically Google Voice or something like that to take in a call and share that audio. But at some point, if it is important to people, we might opt to add something like that in, it's not something that's coming, in the next few weeks or anything like that. But we appreciate the feedback, and I do think the Roadcaster is a very good solution. So consider that. What else do we have here? Brenda says she's a fan of Camtasia as a video editor. I do hear about that one a lot as well. So to that question from a while back, maybe check out that one because I've heard good things.
Cool. So like an easy to use one or tons of features?
I think Camtasia is a bit more advanced. I think it is. Like, I don't think it's like crazy complicated, but it's definitely it's got everything you need, which might be good for you. It might not be good for you. Whereas the one I use is like, there's definitely things it doesn't have that if you're doing some complex editing is going to cause problems, but I don't do any complex editing, but it always comes up. I always hear about Camtasia. So maybe check that out. What else do we have here? Bruce says for mobile users, since producers / admins can send guests private messages and we have extra real estate with mobile or iPad users, can we have some private messages put on the screen somehow? Since now private messages are basically hidden in a menu. It's an interesting one, Bruce. We have chatted about how the private chat is not used, at least not. I guess we don't actually. I don't know how much it's used, but just based on how we use the product ourselves, I don't get the sense that very many people actually use the private chat. So it's interesting. It's an interesting idea to actually make it more functional. So it's something we could think about. Do you have any thoughts there, Dan?
No, it's a good suggestion. I'm definitely open to that, even for desktop. Just a nice little oh, somebody messaged you. And yeah, but like Gage said, we haven't put a ton of effort into it. It is nice for, I've used it certainly a few times where you just really need to send a link to somebody when you're already in the studio. But yeah, no, that's a good idea, especially if you just really want to get someone's attention.
Absolutely. Scott says, what's the best webcam you can recommend for the cleanest picture? So yeah, this question comes up a lot. There's always tons of people recommending different webcams. Personally, I'm sure this is probably not the camera for the cleanest picture, but the web camera I always use just because they never break on me. They last forever, and I really like them. Is the C920 from Logitech. There's the newer model, the C922, and then of course the Brio. But I've always had the best luck with the C920. That's always the one I end up using. Yeah,
pretty cheap too, in comparison to some of the really, really high-end ones.
Yeah, they're definitely a good deal. Now they're probably now everything's a bit expensive, but yeah, compared to I know it's like compared to the newer models, it's still a great camera and you are paying significantly less. Addis says, is there a place to see the updates? It's nice to keep track of all the changes. So yeah, this does come up quite a bit, Ada, and I appreciate the feedback there. Right now, it's sort of random. So there's for big announcements, what we'll do is when you come to the website, there's we'll generally have a pop-up explaining what we added and how it works. But I know some people do want to have a more formal area of the site that they can go back to if they forgot what was added and learn about it. So it's something we're open to. And then again, we generally do email updates. We haven't sent one for a long time, but we will be sending one out for mobile that will cover everything for the mobile edition, along with all the other changes we've made in the last few months that we haven't basically announced anywhere other than on the site itself. But yeah, at some point we could potentially do something like that to track all the changes.
Yeah, the upcoming email will be the closest thing to a formal list of recent changes.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, nice to see you here. I haven't seen you for a bit. Andrew does a great show about Photoshop.
Cool.
Mitchell says he finally has a new reason to use the old gimbal. Nice, glad to hear that. Paul says, I'll keep asking about polling options. And maybe I missed your last question, Paul. So we don't currently have any polling options. It's possible to add. It's possible to integrate. I know Facebook Live has a polling option. I think that might actually be the only platform that has a live polling option, but it's something we're open to. It's just not a request we get very often, so it's not high on the priority list. But if it is important to you, I'd be curious to know the details. And if it's you, I find that there's a mix, or there's not really a mix. People want polling, but oftentimes it's not specifically the live stream, polling inside of the live stream. Sometimes they want polling outside of it. So I'd be curious, do you want a polling option that's built into the destination platform, or is it sort of like something outside of that you're looking for? It'd be good to know.
Good question.
Thanks, Gizzard. Yeah, if you're just dropping in, mobile hosting, and possibly before Tuesday for some people, it takes a while for the change will go out to a small percentage of people, then a larger percentage of people. So over the next couple of days, it'll be rolling out. But yeah, you'll be able to host from mobile devices.
And I guess it depends what time. Like we'll be releasing it sometime on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it depends like what time zone you're on. You might have to be on Wednesday. We'll see. You're ahead of us, which I guess most people are.
Ova says, are you aware of the issue of audio dropping out? It causes people to have to leave and come back. So I'm guessing you're talking about like iOS devices, Kova. So yes, we are aware. It has to do with Safari. Like luckily it's fairly rare. But again, that doesn't make it a good thing. So we're working very hard to get it fixed, and it should be fixed in a version of iOS that's coming out soon, and it should be fully resolved. But we're also experimenting with different workarounds to completely solve it, because I do know that that's a pain to deal with.
Yeah, we made a change a while ago. So like Gage said, it is a Safari thing. Assuming you're talking about a Safari one, if there's something else, let us know. But if it's the Safari one, we did make a change a while ago that made it way less likely to happen. So we spent a ton of time trying to get around this issue and working with Safari, and like the reason or a big part of why it is fixed is because we've been going back and forth with Safari to finally get it fixed. But yeah, it won't be out for a while. So I think it'll be about a month before the fix is out on like the current version of iOS, and then obviously you need to wait for like your guests to be on that version. But coming out soon, and we are trying to think through like other ways around it. So hopefully we'll be releasing maybe something to make it a little bit nicer so they don't have to refresh. And yeah, we totally feel your pain on that one. We spent a lot of time trying to figure that one out.
Paul, that's a good question, Paul. How heavy is the data usage compared to just doing video? I don't know what you mean by just doing. If you just mean recording video, that's no data usage. But compared to uploading a video, it would be similar. But you'd probably have a better sense than me, Dan. Like, what's the actual amount of? I guess it'll depend in like the layout and stuff you're in. But on average, what would you guess the like for an hour stream? It's probably what, like a gig of data?
Talking like how big the recording's gonna be?
How much cell data you're using?
Oh, depends how good your connection is, I guess, because we do reduce it.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you're on a bad internet connection, you'll send, not that you want to be on a bad internet connection, but depending on the quality of your connection, we'll send more or less data. But
yeah, half a gigabyte
over the course of an hour.
Maybe one gigabyte. Yeah,
around that. Scott, thanks. That's kind of you to say. Glad you're enjoying StreamYard. Checking through the questions here. Carlos wants the ability to change fonts. It's come up a few times, Carlos. I'd be curious, do you want, how would you feel about about having more themes versus fonts? Like, do you want the ability to choose a very specific font, or do you just want more options as far as like the look and feel of the banners? I'd be curious. Bruce says, any thoughts to integrate e-commerce features to existing networks like FB Shops, YouTube, Teespring, Merch, Twitch stores, etc., or Amazon Live? Yeah, Bruce, is definitely an area we're interested in. We've asked a few times at the end of the stream how many people are using or who are involved in e-commerce themselves and are using live stream as a tool to promote their stores or grow their brand. And if there's anyone watching now that is, we're definitely interested in chatting with you about that use case and hearing what you'd like to see as far as what an integration would look like. So yeah, if you just email contact@streamyard.com and let the support team know that you're interested in e-commerce, we can set up a call to discuss that, because I would be interested to chat with you. What else do we have here? Wendy's asking for charity. A donate button integration would be amazing for Facebook live streams. Nice to know. I'm hoping at some point, because I'm hoping that it's something Facebook will add, so people will have the ability to donate directly on Facebook and directly on YouTube. And in fact, that might already. I know it's like something that YouTube only enables on certain streams, but on YouTube I know it's a thing, and on Facebook it might be. But I'm hoping they expose that to us over. The fancy term is API, but they give us the ability to use that feature, because I think it would be really cool for us, instead of implementing that ourselves to just utilize the platforms that people already know and are familiar with and are comfortable engaging on to make that donation. And then you'd be able to just see the donation in StreamYard, pop it up on screen. I think that would be great, but it's not something we have access to now, but in the future, it makes sense. I would guess that it might be available in the future. A few people asking for hotkey support. Noted, that one's also high on the list. Thanks, Buffy. Glad to hear that. They definitely work hard. We really appreciate them because especially over the last few months, the volume that our support team has had to deal with compared to your typical customer support team is quite high. I would be surprised as far as like number of messages served per customer support person. They might be breaking records out there. So they're definitely awesome. Chad says, any update on multi-track recording? I don't have any specific updates, Chad, but it's definitely something we're interested in, and not just for audio. We've thought about it for doing it for video as well, just for people that want to really go all out in terms of their repurposing and have, maybe a single video of a guest that they were interviewing. But I don't have any specific updates. If you have any feedback on what exactly you'd like to see with it, let us know. Oh, I just noticed we're quite a bit over time. My rhythm was a bit thrown off because I didn't do the intro, I think. But yeah,
Log in your head because it was almost like exactly a minute before, right?
yeah, it's weird.
Oh,
but yeah, thanks again to Ken and Gil, and happy Father's Day to our dads and everyone else out there. It was fun having them on to do the intro, and we'll be back here next week at the same time. Thanks, Nazari. That's great to hear. Let me just hide this banner. And then, of course, mobile hosting. Be sure to test it out. Let us know what you think. We're super excited about it. It took us a really long time to add that feature, and I know it's something that people have been asking for a really long time. So we can't wait to see you use it and hear what you think.
Cool. Have a good one, everyone. Coming out on Tuesday.